I think I also heard they were looking at Mitch Trubisky, which might not be as good of an idea as Russell Wilson.
No.
Good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is by you. Welcome back to the Underqualified Knuckleheads podcast. I'm your co-host, Daniel Keene. Alongside me, as always, Mr. Andy Newman. Andy, it's bright and sunny out. How are you doing?
Is it bright and sunny, though? It might be bright. Okay, it is bright and sunny, but the temperature has not caught up with the sun. It caught up for one day. I got to wear shorts and socks and sandals. Not sandals, slides. One day, but now it's 32 degrees again, so I don't even know. Welcome to Indiana, by the way. This happens all the time. It's going to be 72 degrees tomorrow, and it's currently freezing.
Honestly, I'm not freezing at all. I'm wearing my socks and slides today. I'm wearing Birkenstocks. Shout out to my sisters who got me the best Christmas present ever.
Freezing in the sense that 32 degrees is freezing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not like actual freezing. Like, I'm not dying.
I think it's 45 out right now, actually.
Oh, really? Well, it was 32 when I was walking to class this morning, so that's the last time I was outside or cared.
Well, as springtime's rolling around, we are on our last day before spring break, but we got to get the podcast in. We always have to get a fun little conversation between two of the smartest sports minds in this podcast.
Are you?
room.
Oh, yeah, that's about it. I was about to say, I'm like,
go.
isn't our show title Underqualified Knuckleheads?
We are
I don't know if we're the smartest.
We are the most qualified people in the room.
I agree with that.
I would agree with that
I can
statement.
back that statement. But just to remind people that are weekly listeners, if we have some, I do believe we do have some weekly listeners.
We have some very
We have some good.
consistent- We're growing a fan base.
I think so. We will not be back next week as it is spring break, and we will be back home or wherever you're going. Where are you going?
North Carolina, then I'm going home for a bit.
Okay, and I'm going back to sunny Fort Wayne, Indiana,
Whoop, whoop.
and doing some work and doing some shadowing with one of my favorite people of all time, Bob Johnston. Should be a fun time, and going to enjoy that 70-degree weather in Indiana during March. Very odd.
Hey, we're going to love it. Today we have quick hits. We have a little bit of talk about the potential of free agency picks across the NFL, and then we have everyone's favorite this or that. And we're going to get a nice little show in for you. Quick Hits is really fun because we're going to cover like all the major news stories of the last week or the major
And by
things
major, we
happening.
mean like major as in like kind of minor, but something is happening.
Things that
yeah,
have happened.
things that has happened, yeah.
That were worth noting.
Yes, notable. There we go.
Notable Quick Hits, yes.
Okay, let's get into it. First one, Troy Aikman to ESPN and Al Michaels to Amazon Thursday Night Football. Very weird. So this is free agency time for broadcasters. Very odd. We've come to kind of know the same broadcasting crews for pretty much our whole lives. It's been Joe Buck and Troy Aikman over at Fox Sports. It's been at least a constant Jim Nantz over at CBS.
Yep.
Got switched out. Phil Simms got switched out with Tony Romo pretty recently, but it's always been Phil Simms as the voice, or not Phil Simms. Jim Nantz is the voice of CBS. And then Sunday Night Football, always the staple, Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth for NBC, at least for me.
I think they're shaking it up now.
It has been. This is free agency time. So Troy Aikman has decided to go over to ESPN.
Yes.
So that duo between him and Joe Buck that a lot of people aren't very big fans of.
Actually,
broken
I
up.
mean, this might make some people happy. I heard that Joe Buck might follow Troy Aikman to ESPN in a couple years. I think there will be a little bit of a reunion down the road.
My thing with that is that why would he go to ESPN? Because I think Joe gets the experience of also doing the World Series, which he's a huge St. Louis Cardinals fan. Not a big fan of the St. Louis Cardinals, but he's very big into baseball. So I don't really see that happening, to be completely honest with you. And I really don't know who they're going to get as their main guy for ESPN. Is it going to be the same dude? Because I really did not care for that guy. Because I watched the ESPN. Every time I watch ESPN, I watch the Manning Cast if it was on. Yeah.
The Manning Cast is pretty good.
Yeah.
I heard Sean Payton might be in the works for ESPN now that he is taking a hiatus off of.
But he would be more of a color commentator guy, not a play-by-play. They need someone who is just like kind of like what you and I are doing, just as a person who can call out plays that has some kind of knowledge on the NFL, but isn't like a person who is in the game.
Yeah, more of a reporter.
Correct.
Than anything else.
Correct.
No, actually, they should hit up this really nice guy. His name's Daniel.
Oh,
he's
Daniel Ricci?
No, Daniel Keene.
Oh, Daniel LaRue?
He's in Muncie right now.
Daniel No?
He'd love to call up games for ESPN if they're listening.
And then the Al Michaels thing, if anyone has not heard about this, so Al Michaels, obviously the guy from NBC, that's probably, honestly, if I had to pick one, just purely based on nostalgia, I think, that's probably my favorite crew is Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels, because I just love Al Michaels, is supposedly supposed to be going to Amazon's new Thursday Night Football, which Amazon Prime is a streaming service, and they're about to get the exclusive rights to Thursday Night Football, which is annoying.
Okay, so one, I thought Al Michaels was going to retire. Two,
nope.
I don't really think Amazon has any real game.
Oh no, they do.
Sportscasting. Well,
they do. They will.
They do in terms of money moves, but also in more of a design perspective. If anyone's seen the logo for Thursday Night Football, it is absolutely horrendous. It looks like the Amazon's graphic designer put it together in 10 minutes and just like
called it a day.
Well, it looked like they had like a much better design in mind, and then the business guys at the top who make all the bad decisions were like, "Hey, why don't you do this?" And it looks, if you take the time to look it up while you're listening, it is truly a sight for sore eyes, in my opinion.
But no, I'm. The one thing I don't like about Amazon getting the rights to this is that I don't want to pay for another streaming service just to watch football for 3 months. That's annoying.
Can't back that statement. I mean, I'm still. I will shout out to my mom. I'll leech off my mom's Amazon Prime just to get the Thursday Night Football games, and that'll be pretty much it.
I'm gonna have to ask for that for Christmas now or something.
It works out.
If my grandma's listening, that could be something that you could get me. Or maybe I could find somebody else that just has Amazon Prime for 3 months and just steal their password for a little bit. I really don't need any of the programming that they have on there. I literally just want the NFL. And I try and watch anything that's on prime time, normal throughout the week games. Yeah. So, yeah, that would be
we
very
would
annoying.
Expect nothing less from a true sports fan. And in true sports fan fashion, our next hit, Carson Wentz and the Colts.
Oh, yeah, a lot of stuff going on there.
A lot of stuff flying about. I think the biggest hit that I heard was that the Washington Commanders are looking at Carson Wentz in the event that they don't draft a quarterback.
Okay, so if anybody doesn't know, Carson Wentz was the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts last year. He was traded for a conditional first-round pick and a third-round pick. And then Carson kind of did not perform to the caliber that we were expecting.
Yeah.
And the Colts are looking to move on from him and find a higher caliber quarterback that they think can lead us or the Colts to a Super Bowl.
In my opinion, I think it's going to be really hard for any team to take a shot on Wentz. But if there is a team that can pick him up and the Colts can get him off their books and trade for somebody like Russell Wilson, who they've been looking at.
Yeah, I would love that.
Honestly, I said this. I don't know if I said this on the pod or just outside of the studio. If the Colts trade for Wilson, there's a good chance they could be deep playoff favorites.
Oh, I think so. I'm just very surprised that the Colts are this quick to move on from Carson Wentz, and I think the main reason behind this is kind of. Which is crazy enough, is Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he has the final say in pretty much any decision. And I'm so surprised that he's, with everything that we paid for this guy, to move on from him after 1 year. Like, I don't think he did that awful. Like, okay.
It wasn't great.
It was not good.
It wasn't fun to watch.
But it is not a generic Colts move, which is very surprising to me because normally we play it pretty conservatively, especially with not going after Matthew Stafford. Instead, we just got Wentz, which was kind of the middle of the road. It was an average Colts move.
I will say it would have been a nice bridge from my trip from Michigan to Indiana for college if Matthew Stafford went to the Colts, but that didn't happen.
No, I'm very surprised that Jim Irsay has gotten to the point where he's just like, no, hopefully we make a legitimate move. And I think Carson will land somewhere. Mediocre to slightly above mediocre quarterback play is needed pretty much anywhere. So anyone will be able to plug him in, whether it be, I don't know if it'll be a backup position, but it'll be a meh starting quarterback position that the Steelers maybe.
Yeah, I think I also heard they were looking at Mitch Trubisky, which might not be as good of an idea as Russell Wilson, but they'll get Trubisky on the cheap.
No.
Okay, Andy's obviously
I
not
do
a fan
not
of
want Mitch Trubisky at all. No. I'm sorry. No. I will take Carson Wentz.
So real Colts fan there.
No.
A blossoming opinion if I've
Straight
ever
up
heard one.
no. If we get Mitch Trubisky as our starting quarterback, no. Just no. Let's move on.
No. We're gonna quickly hit these next two because we talked a little bit about it next week, or last week. Last week's This or That was whether or not the MLB will confirm the cancellation of games due to the current CBA talks not progressing.
And I said they would, and guess what? They are. Yeah.
They're
canceling games.
Hats off to Andy in the studio
and congratulations to the MLB for being the worst major league franchise ever. They are horrible. The MLB, Rob Manfred, and the MLB is just a massive dumpster fire of an organization.
Yep.
Horrible.
And now they're missing their opening day across the league, and we'll see how this one progresses. We'll keep our eye on it. But for now, there is a confirmed cancellation of MLB games.
Great job, baseball.
Moving on, we don't know too much about this yet, but the former USFL, the league from the 80s, a couple of those owners are suing the current NFL based on current
USFL,
names.
You mean? Yeah.
Yeah, the current USFL.
Here, I'll break it down for you here real quick. So I was under the impression that the USFL that's happening right now was a direct continuation from the same general people that happened in the 80s. I think I said 90s on the last podcast, and I got that a little mixed up. It was definitely in the 80s. And I guess it's not, which is crazy. So apparently Fox, this is a Fox, USFL has been created by Fox Sports.
Yep.
Which I did not know that, which is confusing as to why NBC is getting some of the broadcasting rights as well.
I think they just want to share the wealth a little bit.
I guess maybe. But so the USFL that is currently going on is taking a lot of direct, like the same logos, same team names, same color schemes from the old USFL. Mm-hmm. I think just kind of based on pure name recognition and nostalgia kind of thing. So the people that originally were the owners of the old USFL are suing because they did not get any of the trademarks or copyright or anything. But the Fox League is saying, or the new USFL that's supposed to be coming out this year, is basically saying that they haven't been using it for 30 years, so they really don't have any claim, which is very weird.
I think I remember reading the initial ESPN report, and it said like a select number of former USFL owners. They didn't name the owners. So I'm thinking there must have been some sort of connection between Fox and somebody within the old USFL that had made the agreement, and now the guys who missed out on the new USFL are a little bit more upset about it. I would be very confused as to why Fox would go into something like this and not be understanding of the fact that it could not go well for them, especially if they're using things that they haven't paid for. So, yeah. Moving
very
on.
odd.
Three big names in this next hit: Evan Neal, Derek Stingley Jr., and Matt Corral. Not top prospect. Well, two of them are top prospects.
Yeah.
Matt Corral might be a sleeper, but all three of these players chose not to attend and work out at the NFL Combine, saying they'll take more time to be prepared for their pro day. Andy, do you think this hurts their draft stock? Do you think this is a bad look for the players?
Nah. There's been so many players that haven't gone to the Combine before. I don't think Trevor Lawrence did last year, did he? I don't believe he did. I think they're passing up on the Combine. If you are a top prospect like a quarterback,
you don't need
and
to go.
People know who you are and what you do and have seen film on you time and time again, if you're like a Trevor Lawrence, I don't think any of these guys are a Trevor Lawrence figure, like a perennial quarterback that's just. But I don't think that the Combine is worth that much, especially for these bigger guys that are going to be higher draft picks.
I think.
I personally haven't honestly heard of any of these guys very, very much.
Evan Neal is the top prospect in offensive line. He was projected to be the number one overall pick by the Jags, who wanted to strengthen their offensive line. I think they're looking at this guy from NC State now. He had a tougher name to pronounce. Derek Stingley Jr. is a big defensive guy.
Okay.
Matt Corral wasn't going to be super big. He's probably third or fourth ranked, in my opinion, in terms of top quarterbacks. He's the Ole Miss quarterback.
Yeah, no, okay, so I can understand if they're kind of lower, maybe not being a good look for them, but I don't know. I feel like the combine is good for actually like seeing what you've seen on film in real life and like confirming those beliefs, but I don't think it's that big of an idea. So, yeah, no, I don't think it's that.
Yeah. Moving over to the NBA, Bradley Beal says he's leaning more towards re-signing with the Wizards than looking anywhere else.
Interesting
choice. I feel like the Wizards have this, I don't want to say curse, but it's just kind of a culture of having like good players or having somewhat of a structure within the organization and then still not really amounting to too much. And I think this kind of proves the point.
Yeah.
I think if he's sorry, keep going.
No, you're good.
I think if he signed somewhere else, he might be a little bit more of an impactful role. Not as a superstar, but he could still make an impactful role on a team towards a championship. Right?
I feel like his name has kind of just like fallen into obscurity recently. Like I haven't really seen him do anything recently.
Him and John Wall.
Yeah, they both used to be like kind of big. Mm-hmm. And now they're just kind of like, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
Next thing I'm gonna add in Amari Cooper, supposed to be getting cut by the Cowboys.
I can see that.
To save like $20 million. I think it's a good call.
I think it's a good call by the Cowboys. He has not been anything special.
And they've got Cedric Wilson and they have CeeDee Lamb. And I think those are the only two others, right? I think there's one more, maybe. Yeah, I think those are the only two.
Michael Gallup?
Yeah. So I feel like he was kind of just like a third man, really.
Amari Cooper was brought in to be the CeeDee Lamb that they weren't going to draft.
They don't need him now.
They felt the need to draft him after his performance, after Amari Cooper didn't live up to the hype. So I think it's a good move.
And especially for that money, I think it's a good move.
Good idea overall. I can't tell if this next one is serious or not.
No, it's 100% serious. This is insane. So the Washington Commanders have been calling every single NFL franchise to see on the availability of their quarterback via trade or whatever, and they somehow had the guts to call the Chiefs and ask if Patrick Mahomes was available via trade.
I would give everything in my bank account, which is not a lot, to hear that phone call.
That is crazy.
I would love to hear that.
I saw a meme of it where it was Steph Curry on the moon shooting a basketball, and it was the shot from the Commanders trying to get Patrick Mahomes. Oh my God,
that was probably a very
horrible,
quick, very entertaining phone call.
I want to see Andy Reid's reaction to that, just being like eating like a thing of ribs or whatever, and just being like, "What?" Or jelly donut, like he was talking about.
Patrick Mahomes, he's better than jelly donut.
Yeah.
And finally, on the news quick hits, a big one out of the NFL. The NFL is dropping all COVID-19 health and safety protocols. We're back.
Woo!
2 years in the making. Our school, Ball State University, is making the mask mandate optional following spring break.
Is it official? Is COVID over?
I don't think it's over. It definitely won't be over in the sporting world, especially with how often they travel. But I think it's to the point where it has become a little bit less of an impact as it was,
which I think is awesome.
And I think
hopefully
it
stays that way.
Hopefully we stay on the decline. We stay in a healthy and safe and lovely world. But for now, to quote Tom Pelissero when he tweeted the news, it's back to normal finally.
Awesome.
Moving on, NFL free agency. We have 3 teams today. The Lions, the Colts, and the Bengals. 1 my team, 1 Andy's team, and 1 the Super Bowl runners-up. We're going to pick 1 player from each of these teams or 1 asset from each of these teams that we feel they need in free agency. Starting with the Detroit Lions, I said Allen Robinson, who is franchise tagged by the Bears for the 2021-22 season. I like this pick because I think the Detroit Lions need an instant playmaker, especially if they're going to give Jared Goff another year. They need somebody else to go on with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, that guy's good.
And
Amon-Ra? Yeah, Amon-Ra's good. Yeah,
lovely steal in the draft. And I think having Robinson, who should not stay in Chicago, I would not want to be in Chicago right now. The Lions have money to spend. Robinson wouldn't be too much. He won't be too much of a reach in terms of star capability. He's a nice, good veteran player to help this young team. I think it's a good pick all around.
Yeah. And then for me, I just said a whole new franchise and a new ownership.
No, you're done.
No.
You're done.
No, the Lions are a dumpster fire of an entire franchise. I am so sorry. There is not one single free agent that you can bring in and win a Super Bowl or win a playoff game or win more than 3 games. I am so sorry. But what are you going to be able to do with a free agent? I'm so
okay, and we are taking applications for a new podcast co-host.
I'm just saying. I like the Lions. I like Dan Campbell.
I like him too. But
I like Amon-Ra St. Brown
on my team, man.
I like DeAndre Swift. It's just
we are on the up and up. I will back this.
Sure.
The Lions will go 500 or better in the next season or 2. I promise you that.
So you want to go better than 500 or 500 in 2 years? Wow,
yeah.
you have
we
very
have low
low
standards.
Yep.
Yeah, we have low standards, but in 2 years we'll be better than 500 on the season.
Get Detroit something new. Get Michigan something new. Maybe get it out of Detroit somewhere else. I don't know.
This
get a new
is blasphemy.
Team. Get a new team. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's so bad.
Well, moving on to your dumpster fire of a franchise.
We've actually won a Super Bowl in the last 15 years, so thank you very much. Sorry. I feel bad on dumping on the Lions.
It doesn't really sound like you feel
I
too
do.
bad about
I legitimately do. Like, there are so many other franchises that I don't like them as much. I'm rooting for the Lions. I hope they figure out something. I hope maybe they will sign a free agent. Maybe it'll turn it all around. Who knows?
You're just a little pessimistic.
Sure. Yeah, let's go with that. And especially with the Colts as well, I'm very pessimistic when it comes to the Colts because I just know what they're going to do all the time.
Speaking of the Colts, who's your pick?
I honestly kind of like your Allen Robinson pick, but the more that I think about it, I do believe at this point in time, T.Y. Hilton is coming back, which is very weird. And I really thought that he was going to retire. I guess not. So T.Y. will be back. Paris Campbell, I do believe, is going to be back. So we've got speed-ish.
Do you have another wide receiver?
Yeah, and we have Michael Pittman Jr.
Michael Pittman Jr. That's
so I was thinking Allen Robinson. I think Allen Robinson would be a great pickup. But I don't know. We already have a big dude like in Michael Pittman Jr. So I really don't know. Maybe Amari Cooper. Maybe Amari Cooper would be great if we get him on a lower contract than what he has. I don't know if he can do that or not, but I think $20 million is obviously way too much. And I think people, from what I've been hearing in the Colts community, the slated wide receiver coach for the Colts is going to be Reggie Wayne. So I think that honestly might be an attractive force for some wide receivers in the free agency. So I think anyone with any kind of raw talent, I think, is what we need. We need somebody that can actually, I don't know, we've got a guy, we need a good secondary receiver. Maybe a good first receiver and make Pittman a secondary. I don't know. We need someone. Any wide receiver is basically what I'm saying. Any wide receiver that's worth anything.
So I also went with a wide receiver. I went with Mike Williams.
I like that, yeah.
I back your statement that pretty much any wide receiver would go. I like Pittman. He's a pending unrestricted free agent from the Chargers.
You mean Williams? You like Williams? You said you like Pittman.
Did I say Mike Pittman?
Yeah, whatever. Never mind. Yeah,
I got confused.
Yeah,
Michael Williams is who I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Michael Williams, a pending unrestricted free agent from the LA Chargers. Whatever QB the Colts are going to have next season, I think another weapon at wideout won't hurt.
Oh,
you don't?
Absolutely not.
I think it could never hurt. He's a great deep threat. He can make tough catches. He's good in the contested catch. He's got a great route running ability.
Yeah.
He's not a top wideout, but I don't think the Colts need a top wideout. I think they need a guy who can make plays and get stuff done and move the ball down the field.
I think it would be very nice if we got a guy that was a little bit better than Pittman, and Pittman would be a fantastic number 2 receiver. I don't know if we're going to be able to, especially now, as much as Reggie Wayne might be a pull factor for some people that wanting to work with him. It's not an insane pull factor, and especially with all the uncertainty surrounding who our quarterback's going to be, for Mike Williams at least, who would you rather play it with? Justin Herbert or to be determined? You know?
Yeah. So
especially if it's Mitch Trubisky. Please, no. No.
I also think, though, if the Colts pull in a big-name quarterback like Russell Wilson, that will be another attraction for wide receivers.
Yes.
Moving on to our final team, the runner-up, Cincinnati Bengals. I think we all know what this pick is, so let's say it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
O-line.
Offensive lineman.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, we were close.
Well, we said the same
we
thing.
the same general thing. Yep.
You
good enough.
Yes, good enough. For my pick, I said Brandon Sheriff, franchise tagged by the 49ers. He's not a bad O-lineman.
Yeah.
Not a standout O-lineman. He has a little injury prone, but nothing crazy. He won't be too expensive. He's probably the best interior lineman on the market right now, and Lord knows the Bengals need him.
I'm going to go with, I think they should attack Eric Fisher. Eric Fisher was the Colts left tackle after this year, and he honestly did not have a horrible year. I think Eric did a pretty good job, but I don't think he's going to stick around with the Colts for whatever reason. That's the vibe that I've been getting. And I think he's honestly, and he was with the Chiefs back when they had their woes against the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, but I don't think he was the problem there. And he definitely wasn't the problem this year. Sure, he had a couple mess ups, but
did the Colts just sign him to a 1 year?
Yes,
okay.
He's a free agent right now, from what I've been told, and it looks like he's probably not going to return. Very odd.
Yeah.
So I think that could be someone that they could go after. But any O-lineman that's worth anything, it's probably someone that you're going to be wanting on your team.
Yeah, I think anything for the Bengals is a positive move right now. Even if they take like late first round offensive linemen, look to see maybe a trade for a mid-tier lineman. I think anything to benefit.
That is what you need to attack this year, and watch them just draft another wide receiver, something crazy.
I mean, it took him to the Super Bowl.
I mean, yeah, but like you already have like 4 or 5 good wide receivers, or
if they
people
don't
that can catch.
I don't believe this in any way, shape, or form. But if they don't fix the offensive line issue, Joe Burrow will not last more than.
Well, he'll be another Andrew Luck, I think.
He's either going to be another Andrew Luck, or he'll get out of there. He'll get out of Cincy.
I like that.
But we know that general office is smart enough to not do that.
Yeah. Well, they're not smart enough to build an indoor practice facility, so I wouldn't give them that much credit.
I would give them enough credit when the entire sporting world has spent the season lambasting the fact that you guys have a terrible offensive lineman. Or offensive line unit.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do it.
Well, then again, you said that about the Green Bay Packers and not having enough wide receivers, and they went out and drafted Aaron Rodgers' replacement. So, you can't always give franchises that much credit. They might make a boneheaded decision for whatever reason.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Us
Hopefully they don't.
Underqualified Knuckleheads made our picks. Let's see what the NFL thinks in free agency.
Yes.
Moving on to our final segment and returning for the second week running, this or that. 3 questions, 3 differing opinions. We're going to spend a minute or two each depending on how escalated it gets. As long as we don't talk about the Lions again, because I'm still heartbroken about that.
I'm sorry. I like the Lions.
It really doesn't sound like you like the Lions.
No. I do like the Lions. I do like the Lions. It just, they've got so many issues that I don't think you can fix with just one free agent.
Campbell.
Yeah, Dan Campbell was cool. I like Dan Campbell, but
Dan Campbell is
your quarterback is also Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Yeah. This or that.
Okay, yeah, this or that. I was about to get real sad on my Lions there. First, this or that for today's episode. Thomas Brady, Brady,
just say
will
Tom.
return to the NFL in some capacity. Andy?
I don't know what the heck is going on. Apparently, yes. That's my thought. And I'm thinking it might honestly be as a player, which is crazy because every time that I watch like either the Pat McAfee show or I'm watching something on ESPN or getting some sort of what's your comment there?
Tom Brady to the Colts?
No. No. And I'll explain why that's an incorrect statement here in a second. But I feel like there's always some sort of rumor or news that, he's going to be back. He's going to be back. And I'm like, didn't he just retire? Like, it's crazy. Like, I feel like he's already itching to be back, and it's been like maybe a month, if that. And Bruce Arians said this. They still have the rights to Tom Brady, I do believe, if he comes back.
They still have a year,
they will not be trading him for more than I think Bruce Arians said the asking price for getting Tom Brady is 5 first-round picks, which no one will do that for 1 year of Tom Brady. So, no thank you. So, he'll be either a Buccaneer, and he'll be back, or he'll do some sort of ownership thing. I've heard that as well, going out on ownership.
He's got the money.
Yeah, and so does his wife. Giselle somehow has more money than he does.
I wouldn't.
No,
that's not surprising to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't speculate on that.
No, she definitely has more money than he did, which is insane. But good for Giselle.
Thinking about how much money Tom Brady has plus Giselle's money.
Oh, yeah, they could probably.
They could buy a franchise.
I don't know if they could buy a whole franchise. I'm sure they could probably go in on one.
They could get
easily.
close to it.
If they pooled all of their money and threw it into a franchise, then they would.
So maybe he could own part of a franchise or some of a
franchise.
Yeah,
like what Peyton Manning is doing right now with the Broncos.
I don't think it's going to happen.
You don't think so?
I think Tom Brady wants to. I think all of the speculation about him coming
forever
back,
though.
At least for the next 5 years.
Okay.
Next 10 years, maybe. Guys,
10?
Guy needs to take a minute, chillax, focus on.
Everyone said that about Peyton Manning, and look what he's been doing a lot. Is he not back in the NFL?
I think Tom Brady does not want to return to the NFL right now. I think Tom Brady is not so much.
I completely disagree. It sounds like he really does for some weird reason.
I
don't know.
I think Tom Brady's going to stay away from.
I doubt it.
I could see in a couple 5-10 years down the line, he will come back in some capacity, maybe in a broadcast booth. Maybe he will coach.
We'll see.
Maybe he'll pull a Philip Rivers and coach his high
Philip
school.
Rivers?
Yeah, coach his kid's high school football team.
Yeah.
That'd
okay.
be wonderful.
We'll see.
Moving on to our next this or that. At least one QB from this year's draft class will be a starting Super Bowl player. I think we wrote down a starting Super Bowl champion, and that's putting a lot of pressure on these young guys. I think just saying.
Are you talking just in their career, or
yes, in their career? One of the QBs from this year's draft class will be starting in a Super Bowl.
No.
Andy says no.
I'm sorry. Okay. I always think that I'm more well versed in college football and the prospects and everything. And for whatever reason this year, I know like none of these dudes. Like I have really honestly, other than just like all the stuff that's been talked about, like in the past week at the Combine, I do not recognize a single name on this list. So I don't really see them going anywhere.
Really?
But we'll see. We'll see if they figure it out. Like, I don't know. I didn't know who Patrick Mahomes was. Now I do. So maybe it's just because I have a lack of knowledge in this area, which I thought I didn't have, but I guess I do. I don't see any of these names becoming a standout, fantastic, we're going to win a Super Bowl quarterback, especially with all the talent that we have in the NFL right now.
I don't think it's fair to ever say a player's not going to do anything. I mean, we've seen countless times players go from 6th-round picks to Super Bowl champion to MVP to big time players, guys who were underrated in the draft. So I think it's a little harsh to say that any one of these guys will never play in a Super Bowl. But more specifically, I think Kenny Pickett has an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl. I think Sam Howell, North Carolina QB, is wildly underrated. Yeah, he's not going to come out and start right away and be a superstar, but maybe he goes the Patrick Mahomes route, sit for a year, learn, become something amazing.
Yeah, I have no idea. I feel like I really don't know a whole lot about these guys, so maybe I don't know. I feel like the quarterback area and the quarterbacks themselves are just so oversaturated with how many good quarterbacks there are, and I feel like there are more good quarterbacks than there are on this list. So I feel like maybe, I don't know. No one ever really knows. People were saying that Ryan Leaf might be a better pick over Peyton Manning. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
I think it's way too early to ever doubt anybody out with a career in the NFL.
Someone picked Tua Tagovailoa over I'm saying someone picked Tua Tagovailoa over Justin Herbert at one point. Like,
well, I don't think Tua Tagovailoa is done in the NFL.
No, but I don't think he's better than Justin Herbert. Like, you never know. You never know.
At the present moment, no, but I think he's got the potential to be better than Justin Herbert. That could be another this or that. Our final one, though, today. Can Major League Soccer become a dominant major U.S. professional sports league?
And my answer is no.
I think it's already on its way.
It could be, but nobody. I'm sorry to all my friends who love soccer. I don't know what it is, but America is just not. I mean, it's growing, sure, but I feel like even hockey. I mean, hockey is like what the fourth major one. It goes as of right now. I do believe it goes the NFL by an insanely wide margin, and then the NBA.
Actually, I think it's then the MLB, then the NBA.
Really?
Yeah.
Is the NBA fallen since then?
No, I think it's always been.
Well, I don't know if it. I feel like the MLB is pretty bad in
There's
a
a lot of
bad
money.
spot.
There's a lot of money that goes in the MLB right now. Yeah, it's probably going to be NBA over MLB right now.
Yeah,
but
it
yes,
used to.
NHL,
MLB used to be destroying everyone, and now the NFL is even doing better than the MLB was doing back then.
Yeah,
so
I think.
And then in the NHL,
you were saying NHL is probably lowest. I think they can be.
I don't think they'll get higher than any of those though.
There's plenty. I think it could be higher than hockey. I think it could be higher than baseball.
No, that. I'm gonna have to disagree completely on that. The MLB, even though it's in a horrible spot right now, the MLB is so ingrained into American culture. It's America's. I don't know if it is anymore, but it used to be America's pastime. There is so much history, so much America that is just ingrained into baseball, and soccer will never have that. It will never pass the MLB. Never.
The more the MLS grows, the more we start to realize why soccer, football, is the most watched sport in the entire world. It is passion, it's emotion, it's entertaining, and now we're starting to see the financial backing of this. The average MLS club is worth more than any Premier League club. The first division of English football is the Premier League.
I know what that is.
Any of the Premier League clubs outside the top six. So the top six is Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, and Chelsea Football Club. Outside of those top six English teams, the average MLS club is worth more financially than the rest of the division.
Yeah, no.
The MLS is starting to buy youth products from South America, start making its way, start muscling its way past these big teams to grab the world's next generation of talent, and starting to sell players. Alphonse Davies went to Bayern Munich for $40 million from Vancouver Whitecap. They are starting not only to recruit the world-class players that the MLS has started to garner, but also sell these players to Europe's elite clubs and start making its way in the world.
Yeah, I just don't think. I mean, sure, it's growing. It's growing, and it could pass hockey. I feel like hockey's been pretty stagnant, at least in the USA, for a while. And maybe it's growing a little bit. I don't know, but I feel like it doesn't get that many viewers. If soccer really wants to get anywhere, I feel like it has to get talked about more on our major sports networks, which it really isn't.
ESPN picked it up.
It's a long
time ago, but ESPN picked it up and has been developing it.
Yeah, and I'd like to see
it on ESPN now.
I have never seen I've seen a hockey game, I've seen a baseball game, I've seen a football game, and I've seen a basketball game, all on a major sports network in a prime time or sometime during Sunday or something like that. I don't think I've ever seen a Major League Soccer game that, and it's no offense to soccer. Maybe this is just me. And I have so many friends who love soccer and just love the whole sport. As an average American consumer of sports media, I just do not find I don't know what it is. I just don't find me watching that over watching a football game or a basketball game, or I would honestly rather watch an MLB game than that personally.
Depending on which team, I would pick soccer over the NFL.
Yeah, and that's just
all
people's
the other franchise, and that's just like you're about to say.
Absolutely, no one in the NFL would agree with you. Oh, well, not in the NFL. Sorry, pretty much the vast majority of people in America would completely disagree with you, which I do as well. I just do not find soccer, and this is the same thing with hockey, and sometimes with the MLB as well. I just do not find them very entertaining. Just a lot of slow, I don't know what it is. It's just a thing in the United States where we are not very high on soccer. It's very odd. Everyone else in the world super big on soccer and football, whatever. I just don't get it. I don't know. It's just not my thing.
And hey,
it could.
I believe,
but I don't
it
think
will.
so.
I believe it will.
Maybe it'll pass hockey. Maybe it will. Hockey's more of a Canadian thing anyway.
It definitely could be a post spring break outing to take Andy to a live MLS game, which would be wonderful. I'll get you there.
I've been to a soccer game before, just not my thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen Liverpool play before.
We'll turn it around at some point in time, maybe. Leave the door open.
Leave the door open. I'll be open minded, but not really.
Okay.
I've watched enough soccer to be like, That's just not my thing.
Okay, let's say we'll leave the door open,
but not really.
But
sure, maybe
on a more conclusion. Oh gosh, we're not good with words today.
I don't know. Concluding the podcast.
Concluding it. We're going to shut the door on today's podcast episode. We will not be here next week, but following that, we will be right back here in our chairs with our mics talking to you lovely people. Till then, you guys have a wonderful time. Stay safe. Enjoy the weather wherever you are, even if it's in Indiana where one day it's 70 and the next day it's 32.
And snowing. Yeah.
And snowing. It just happens.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.